buckle up, grab your favorite beverage, and let's go. If you're new here, hi, my name is Alyssa Simpson and I'm a Restfully Rich manifestation coach. And on Mondays, I'm bringing you my mic drops because there are so many things that I see, not only just in the day-to-day, but also especially in the industry that I'm in, where we are working on our personal development, we are working on our mindset, we are working on manifestation, we are up-leveling every single day, and there are misconceptions, there are things that are holding you back that if you are a private client of mine, if you've ever been inside of any of my containers, you know how blunt and honest I am, and I've always kind of reserved that for the people who pay to be in proximity to me. But here's the thing, you need to hear it too. You're consuming me for free, watching this, listening to it, whatever, but you need to get hit with some reality checks, and that is what Mic Drop Mondays are all about. For my overachieving, ambitious, bullheaded ass women out there, this message is for you because hello, I am one, but also there has been some deconditioning, some reprogramming, if you will, from a high achieving, ambitious, bullheaded as fuck woman myself. And one thing that you need to understand is the restfully rich lifestyle is something that you can achieve too. Okay. I, for one, have always lived the restfully rich lifestyle before I even knew like what restfully rich really was. It has been something that I have done my entire life. And number one, I used to feel shame around that. I used to feel shame that I didn't have this rags to riches, struggle to success story that so many rich and wealthy women that I know have. But instead of feeling that shame around it, I'm leaning into that because that is honestly a superpower of mine. And which is exactly the thing that I teach inside of Restfully Rich, which is my private container where I am letting the women who are overachieving, ambitious, high functioning, learn how to lean into that restful energy, because you don't have to work your ass off. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to win the lottery, become lucky, or pour blood, sweat, and tears into something to become rich. So the idea that you were already sold on that, number one, it's a lie. I'm living, breathing proof that that is a lie, and so many others as well. I'm not the only one. I'm not an anomaly. There are many women like me who have lived the restfully rich lifestyle because we've mastered the mindset and the energetics, and we also don't listen to all of the propaganda that's out there about girl boss, hustle culture, all the bullshit. Hey, I'm interrupting our interaction right now to let you know of some new things that have been birthed over the past month. First is my new 30-day guide to becoming restfully rich. It is the restful rich identity shift that has got to happen in order to become restfully rich. And it is available for you for only $11. What are you actually waiting for? Get your hands on this. It's going to change your life. It is 30 days of intentional embodiment practices that are going to get you to your restful, rich identity so much more efficiently. The next beautiful, incredible creation that I have birthed for you is my Fall in Love with Your Ordinary Life free guide that you can download today as well. No matter the season that you're in, you are able to step into a completely different identity. And that is why I've created these two incredible new things for you to have, to consume, to implement, and to honestly see your life change from within. So let's get back to it. I tried. I hired mentors who told me that essentially you needed to put more effort into your business. And every time I would go to a mentor, I would tell them like, I feel so guilty that I have all of this abundance, but none of it comes from my business, right? And I don't really think I was mentorable because I didn't have this plate to bring to someone and say, hey, I'm trying, I wasn't struggling in my business. I wasn't not implementing strategies and all of these things that a lot of mentors kind of mentor you on. The effort was there, but I had such a resistance in my business because ultimately I was trying to do my business under the guise of something that wasn't authentic to me, right? Teaching women how to become restfully rich, that is something that I have done, but never really articulated that. And that was ultimately my issue, right? Now that I have a very clear understanding of like, okay, what is my magic? What is my medicine? What is my gift that I'm bringing to the world? It's living restfully rich, especially as a woman, because we are not meant to hustle like men. You should not be operating on a masculine structure at all, but entrepreneurship doesn't show you that. It isn't allowed for that because there's no one who has operated in the feminine energy who has risen to a success that is also teaching others how to do it, right? But the one thing that I have seen so often, and I am also, this used to be my reality. My whole entire goal and dream was to retire my husband. Why is that what we are sold to as women? Retire your husband. Build an empire that you and your husband never have to work. How fucked off is that? And I'm telling you where it comes from. It comes from the feminist bullshit that they spew on you, that women are equal to men. No, we are not. Women are superior to men. No, we are not. That women can out-earn men. Yes, you can, but at what fucking cost? The cost is you burning yourself out, you're operating outside of your actual flow, and your nervous system cannot operate like men because you have a feminine nervous system. Also, men need to work. Physically, they need to work. They need to feel like they are being productive in an area. The exchange of like time for money or energy for money, like that is where they thrive. That is where men thrive. And if you have a man who doesn't agree, he should probably get his testosterone levels checked, but that's for a whole nother conversation. But I used to have that same feeling. I was like, I'm going to retire my husband. I'm going to build such an empire that none of us have to work ever again. And we can just live and laugh and love and all the bullshit. We tried that. Didn't serve him like I thought it would, right? It didn't serve him like I desired it to, right? And I always thought there was something wrong with me. Like, is it just not enough? Does there need to be more? Like, do I need to be trying to work harder and push harder? And every time that I would try, it would burn me the fuck out. Like, because I'm not meant to live and operate that way, right? So both of us were not thriving in our own energy, right? There was never any like turmoil. There was never any, issues between us, but individually there were. I didn't feel like I was serving my purpose. And every conversation that I have with high achieving women, the same thing happens. If you watch the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I love that show. I love reality TV in general, but a lot of their whole like story that they're selling is these boss bitch women who are making more money than their men do in a day, blah, blah, blah. So like they're working while the men stay at home. And we watched the last season together, my husband and I. Really, I watched and he kind of did his own thing, was just like listening in the background. But I asked him, I was like, does that like, cause who was it? Michaela's husband, Jace. He was at home with her newborn while she was out working, and I am 13 months postpartum myself. And I asked my husband, I was like, would you enjoy that? Like, would you enjoy getting to be a stay-at-home dad while I'm off working and generating money? And he was like, maybe for a little bit, but I don't think so. Like, I think that would be really hard. And sure, I am not speaking for every fucking situation, but I'm speaking to a vast majority of situations. Men are not meant to caretake like women are. They're just not. If they were, then they would be the ones carrying and bearing children. Let's call a fucking spade a spade. There is a reason why women are mothers, why they are the ones bringing life into this world, why they are such a crucial part of a child's development from the ages of 0 to 3, because we are literally building their nervous systems brick by fucking brick. Our brains, this is neuroscience backed, I'm not spitting off my own opinion here, our brains are wired to answer to their cues much differently than men. If you're a mom, have you ever woken up in the middle of the night to hearing your child crying and your husband is asleep snoring next to you and you're like, how do you not fucking hear that? Because their brains aren't wired to be attuned to your child's needs like women are. That's just one singular piece of like many examples that are, again, backed by research and science that I can sit here and prove to you. But the point of this is, if your goal is to retire your husband so that he never has to work again, stop. It should not be the goal. The goal should be to both live in balance, because when you are both in balance and both operating at your own frequency in your own natural state, which for women, it's the feminine energy. For men, it's the masculine energy. There is so much more harmony. And I know a lot of women who own businesses and their husbands are a part of that business. And guess what? They are successful because the men are operating the masculine systems and the women are staying in their feminine. They are the creator. They are the creators. They are the activators. They are in the flow state. While the men operate on their masculine cycle of structure and strategy and all of these things. There's a balance there. But when you have these women who are like, okay, husband, stay at home with the kids, be Susie homemaker, all of these things get totally fucked off. And 9 times out of 10, divorce is on the table. Divorce is in a conversation. Divorce gets talked about. Also, there are complete and total nervous system breakdowns through both parties, men and women, because you are not operating in your natural state. We are not meant to operate like men. Sure, you absolutely can. No one is saying that you cannot, but it is not sustainable. You are going to rise. You are going to be at the top of your game financially, but at what cost? Your nervous system is going to be shot. You will not feel fulfilled. You're going to keep asking yourself, is it because I need more money? Is it because I need more systems? Is it because I need more strategy? You need to come back home to you, babe. You need to come back home to that feminine energy and let your man be in his masculine energy. Yes, there are men who have jobs and careers that they hate, that they loathe, that they wish they were doing something else, that they wish they could just go and fish all day long. But guess what they're doing when they're fishing? They're providing. They're not just fucking around. They're in their natural element, okay? So there are a lot of caveats to this that, yes, again, I'm not trying to blanket statement the entire fucking population in every single marriage, but I'm telling you right now, for the women that I see, for the women that the woman that I used to be, the conversations that I have with women who are at the same high caliber level as myself and who I'm coaching, they're all having the same issue. And they've told me repeatedly, I want to be more in my feminine. I want to be more in my feminine. I want to be able to relax and to flow and to create and to nurture and to be at home with my kids. You can. You can. You do not have to choose your career, your passion, your absolute dream over being a present parent, raising your children, nurturing your children, being there for them. But I'm telling you right now, the way that you're operating and what you're trying to do is what is fucking your system up. Let's go back to the Mormon housewives. Those relationships are fragile. They're fragile because the ones that are having their men stay at home and caretake and do all these things and switch gender roles, which if that pisses you off, I am not the person for you. I believe in the law of gender, which states that balance of both genders has to happen. You cannot have two masculine ass energies or two feminine ass energies. This is why in same-sex relationships, there is someone who is more masculine and someone who is more feminine. I don't know why I'm doing that. Someone who's more masculine, someone who is more feminine, because the balance works. The balance works. But you have to be in your natural state, okay? And I am someone who for a long time operated in my masculine hardcore. And for what? For me personally, it didn't generate more abundance. It allowed me to find my purpose. It allowed me to step into my role truly and authentically and unapologetically as someone who is going to lead a movement of women becoming restfully rich. I am leading that movement in real time. It took me a little while to kind of like connect the dots for myself and to really like shed that layer and say what I want to say and coach how I want to coach and mentor how I want to mentor, because I was doing it for a long time under the guise of being soft and very, very esoteric and spiritual. And that is a part of me, but also like, let's be so for real. The way that society has set up women to run businesses isn't good, isn't well. It doesn't allow for sustainable success. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. Being restfully rich does not mean being lazy or fucking around or, sitting on the beach with a margarita in your hand, tanning, 360 days out of the year. Being restfully rich means a few things. The first thing is to understand your own feminine energy, which if you're listening to this and you're like, but I think I'm pretty feminine, I think I have a good feminine energy. If you're operating through the feminist mentality, you don't. Feminists are not in their feminine energy. They are trying so hard to claim that they are, but on paper, what they claim to be and what they're actually being, it is not. feminine energy. It is very much like we are equal to men, we are better than men, no, we're not. No, we are not. No, we are not. We are not equal to men because we can do things that men cannot. Men can do things that women cannot. But us trying to be at that same level as men and to take men out of their masculine, really causing this very vicious cycle that we are seeing in real time play out. There are more men on antidepressants than there have ever been. Why the fuck do you think that is? There's multiple reasons, but a big one has to do with they are not operating in their masculine energy. We have a entire generation of soft ass men and hard ass women, and that is so fucked. Like, that is not how it needs to be at all, right? There is like this picture that we're shown too of like women being oppressed because they're at home cooking and cleaning and raising children. The marriages back then, like my great grandparents were that way, and they were together for 75 years and they were in love. Like, they were in love. This wasn't like my great grandmother couldn't leave, or like she couldn't, she was tied, because that's the story we're told too, is that we're tied to our men because they provide for us and we don't have our own money. We don't have our own anything. Number one, quit choosing shit relationships, quit choosing shit people that are going to keep you trapped like that. Because when you're in a balanced relationship, when you're in a relationship where there's love involved, you don't need to really have your own. And that is something that I am unlearning, because I grew up with my parents loved each other, sure, but it was very much like the conversation of, I'm the powerhouse here, my dad, and, mom, you better fall in line or else, like, you don't have anything without me. Like, that was kind of, I wouldn't say threatened, but that was a conversation that I heard a lot growing up. And whenever my dad first got sick, both of my parents died 7 years ago within 6 months of each other. But when my dad first got sick, my mom had no idea about what bill got paid when. Like, she had no financial idea of their relationship. And to me, I took that and ran with it. And I was like, I will never not know what's going on with my finances. And you should know what's going on with your finances, whether you are the one bringing it in or not, you are the one generating it or not. You should have an idea of what's going on. Took it and I ran with it. And I, like, so much to the point where it was like hyper independence, where I was like my name is the only name on anything and everything. And you're not allowed to not let me know what's going on. And not that my husband, even whenever we were just dating, he was like, oh, okay, like that, you're like kind of nuts about like your money, like chill out, like it's not that serious, like what's going on. But it's because I had like this idea and this wound of it that I was projecting, and it wasn't a real thing that was happening in my life. And then the whole conversation of, I'm going to retire my man, I'm going to retire my husband, and blah, 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 blah. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. Men need to operate in their masculine, women need to operate in their feminine. And when you are not doing so, you create disarray, you create an imbalance, you create unharmony. What is the word? Disharmony? I don't know. Not harmony is what you're creating. And if you are someone who has that idea of, well, I want to retire my husband, because if it's for the idea that you have so much money that neither one of you have to work, cool, go off, do your thing. Because here's the thing, and people say this, and I used to think it was such a crock of shit, but there's truth to it. When you are doing something that you love, you don't ever really need to retire. Like, I don't ever see myself not coaching. I don't ever see myself 80 years old without like working. You know what I mean? And I can't speak for my husband, but because I know that he loves what he does, I think if anything, he would just find a hobby that he could really pour into too, or like find another job that he really enjoys or loves or whatever, but this is why, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. This is why people who are 65 and then they retire from a job that they really didn't like, they end up physically declining because they don't have like a purpose, right? That's the whole point. Your purpose, not work, it's purpose. So when you're operating in your purpose, there is no need to retire anybody. There is no need to have an exit strategy. It's to live in harmony, to live in balance, to live fulfilled, restfully, rich. That's the goal. But when you are operating as a one-woman show and you are like the main character of your life, you aren't allowing yourself to truly open yourself up to the abundance that is possible for you. Think of all of the women who have been in business, who have built an empire and stayed with their empire and have done it for decades. They do it in a restful way. They do it in a harmonious way. These women who rise to riches very quick and they're operating at a high level caliber, but they're always on. They don't get to just freely live and flow and go. Those are the ones that we see burn their empires down to the ground. Those are the ones that we see who are out of harmony, who end up having divorces, who end up, with physical ailments, who have like these chronic illnesses because they aren't truly operating in their flow. So stop having the goal being to retire your husband, to retire your man, so that he can be the one staying at home, so that you can go and generate. You can generate at home with your babies. You can generate while you are meal planning for the week. You get to be an open portal for abundance and riches to find you if you learn the Restfully Rich framework. I have mastered this framework. I've been living it for decades now, unaware of it, until I had my child and I had to sit down and ask myself, like, how have I been able to do this? How have I been able to live such a rich life without hustling, without burning out, without exchanging my blood, sweat, and tears, without feeling overwhelmed? How have I been able to do it? A little self-reflection and a little backtracking allowed me to realize, holy shit, this needs to be shown. This needs to be taught, because this is how we keep women operating in their purpose and creating beautiful things without them ever getting to a point where they need to burn it down or to sacrifice their marriage or to sacrifice motherhood or to sacrifice themselves, because it's possible. If you haven't already, I created an $11 guide for a 30-day Restfully Rich identity shift that you can buy today using the link below. Hop inside of Restfully Rich. This is the thing that is going to change your life. Make sure you are subscribing to this channel so you never miss a Mic Drop Monday, and I'll see you next week. Bye.